Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is cool. I'm back, Michael Fletcher, alongside the guys Anthony Floyd and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, we're just going to dive right on in as usual. We start out with NXT, then to be followed by AEW, and then we'll have the preview for Thursday Night Football. So, with that said, we're just going to kick it off with NXT. Believe it or not, they are indeed back at they're back at the Capitol Wrestling Center. We thought that they would probably not go back. We thought that maybe they said that they were gonna that this was gonna end the run, but apparently they decided let's do this, let's go back, and so they were at the Capitol Wrestling Center or the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, and we started out with the promo by Tony D'Angelo, interrupted by Oba Femi, and they basically cut the promo, and we have our match set up at Halloween Havoc. It will be a rematch for the North American title as Tony D'Angelo does go up against Oba Femi, but you notice there was a wheel, and you notice it is spin the wheel, make the deal. They spun it, and it turned out to be tables, ladders, and scares. Oh my! What the hell does the scare part mean? So, we know the tables will be in it. We know ladders are going to be in it. Normally it would be chairs, but they said scares. So what the hell is that final part of that match? That means something freaky is about to go down, something weird, and maybe some kind of funny, ghoulish thing might go down. But it's NXT. You know they were gonna throw something there, and this is gonna be interesting, y'all. This is gonna be wild. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, solid promo by the two men, and then the wheel comes into play, and ooh,
Yes.
I think we got an interesting one on that. Legendary staple of Halloween Havoc from the WCW days. Spin the wheel, make the deal, and we're doing it.
We are doing it. This was a simple and effective follow-up from last week. Tony D'Angelo spoke with confidence, perhaps taunting Obafemi a little too much. The ruler said his own confident statement, promising to take his title back. While D'Angelo and Femi are not the typical type of competitors for a great ladder match, they have proven chemistry and have varied it with each match. This could be a show stealer at Halloween Havoc and will not need much more build to sell the final contest with the North American Championship on the line. However, Femi is going to take out the Don's family before Halloween Havoc to add an extra personal edge to it. The Don said he used Femi's pride against him by baiting him into position for a sunset flip pin for the victory. And then Luca Crucifino challenged Oba Femi for a match, and next week on NXT, Oba Femi will go one-on-one with Luca Crucifino. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Tables, ladders, and scares can only mean one thing. Some hocus pocus could be going down. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. So yeah, solid segment to say the very least. So Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on all this. Bullock, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Tony D'Angelo, like you said, I mean, celebrating his championship win, and like you said, getting interrupted by Omafemi, and Femi not wasting any time, like you said, wanting his rematch, and now we're gonna get it at Halloween Havoc with tables, ladders, and scares. So. Yeah, we'll see what comes out of this. So yeah, I mean, an interesting segment here. So let's move on, Fletch.
Yes, indeed. First fight of the night. Stephanie Valcour makes her in-ring debut for NXT, goes up against Ren Sinclair, and Stephanie Valcour wins the match in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. However, it was a very short-lived celebration because Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez both jumped her, tried to get the leg up. Julia hits the ring, and then that challenge was laid out. As Julia said, her and Stephanie versus Roxanne and Cora in a tag team fight. Anthony, it's yours.
And that tag match will go down at Halloween Havoc, by the way. So, all right. 2 1/4, 2.5. This was a fairly one-sided battle, but Ren Sinclair did her part to make Stephanie Valcour look dangerous from the outset. It was a fun showcase of what makes Valcour one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today. Still, much more is going to be seen from her in the coming months. The next hurdle will be the tag team match at Halloween Havoc. If I'm going to be honest with you, a fatal four-way match with the NXT Women's Championship on the line would have been more interesting for the premium live event, but this does protect the future challengers without giving them another loss. So I guess I can understand why. So, and Ava confirmed the tag match for Halloween Havoc, and then Fatal Influence demanded a Women's North American Championship match. Ava agreed if two members of that faction face Julia and Stephanie Valcour next week. So next week on NXT, Stephanie Valcour and Julia will be teaming up against two members of the Fatal Influence. My guess is it'll probably be the two most experienced members of the faction, that being Fallon Henley and JC Jane. I'm sure Jasmine Nix will be running around outside. So not much more to say. 2 1/4, 2.5. No doubt about the outcome here. It was Stephanie Valcour's first match after all. So basically a showcase. Not much more to say. So Michael Bullock, Stephanie Valcour, her first televised match on NXT. How'd she look to you?
Yeah, she definitely looked good in this in her first match on NXT. I mean, she definitely showed the world why she is probably one of the best women's wrestler in the world. And yeah, Ren Sinclair, I mean, fortunately found out the hard way, even though she did put up a little bit of a good fight. I'll say it. But in the end, the outcome was never in doubt. And then, like you said, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez jumped her and hoped to really beat her down until Julia came down and make the save, and then the challenge was made, and now it's on. Roxanne and Cora Jade against Julia and Stephanie Valcour at Halloween Havoc. So, and yeah, like you said, I mean, Fatal Influence saying they want the women's tag team championships, and Ava, like you said, you know what? You'll get that shot if you defeat Julia and Stephanie Valcour next week. So we'll see what happens with it. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah.
2.5 stars is my rating for the match. I forgot to give that.
All right, no problem. You're good. 2.5. Agreed. Could have been better in certain areas, but it was a very good performance to start off, and I really thought they did a really good job with it. So at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything truly bad. I think it could have been certainly better in certain areas, but I'm happy with the outcome. I'm very happy with the win more than anything else, and yeah, I think we got ourselves quite an interesting a match coming up. So yeah, so next up we had was what they call a gentleman's duel. It was Oro Mensah versus Lexis King. Now, the rules are very unique. You're not allowed to use any closed fists. You do, automatic disqualification. If you throw an opponent over the top onto the floor, automatic disqualification. There is on a rope break, it's not a 5 count, it's a 3 count. You violate that rule, automatic disqualification. You cannot hit an opponent in a grounded position. You do that, it's an automatic disqualification. Everything else is all fair game. The winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 58 seconds was Lexis King. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
This was a very interesting match with the. So, yeah, I mean, it was a fine match, but it's just this whole thing was just so confusing to me with the rules that were in place. So, but I'll give this about an even 3 stars. So it's yours, Fletch.
I totally agree with it. And I know there's a lot of people that hated the rules. I know there was a lot of people that kind of poo-pooed over this. And it was mainly because of the rules. It wasn't because of the match. It wasn't because of anything else. It was just because the rules were so convoluted and nobody really understood what they were doing. But at the end of the day, I thought they did fine for what it was worth. I think they did all right. But at the end of the day, I think the right person won. It does add to another element down the line, but give me that victory there. I'm fine with it. I got nothing bad to say. Again, I think they could have been better in certain areas, and I wish they would have explained the rules a lot better. I think that's the biggest thing, is that they didn't really explain the rules. And that's why I think a lot of people kind of crapped all over this. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours. I agree with Bullock. It's a 3-star bout.
3 to 3.25 for me. Adding unique rules to a wrestling match can be difficult for fans to follow, but Lexis King and Oro Mensah did a great job early establishing the major pitfalls to avoid in this type of bout. Once that was established, the two men mostly rolled, though it felt like they ran out of steam near the end. It was verging on great early, but fell to just good by the closing stretch. King winning was a surprise, but he is clearly committed to his babyface evolution. Perhaps this is the opportunity to finally give him a shot up the card. NXT should not forget about Oro Mensah, though, who has lost the popularity he garnered feuding with Ethan Page. The gentleman's duel may not be a stipulation that NXT can pull out often, but it's worth considering at the right time for certain opponents. It's an opportunity for a more grounded bout, keeping the competitors contained to the ring. So there's not really much more to say on this. 3 to 3.25. So with that, we move on. MF, we move on.
We sure do. Next up that we had that was of relevance. Hang on. Just a lot of promo stuff after this. Then we had Lola Vice versus Nikita Lyons. And it was Nikita Lyons winning the match in 4 minutes and 47 seconds. But you kind of have to say this was a little bit of some chicanery because Jada Parker showed up and actually helped Nikita get the win. I don't think it was, I don't think she needed the help for the win, but she was there nonetheless. And she took out Lola, hip checked her, threw her into the ring, and that gave Nikita the moment to basically squash her at the end. It was a fine match. I'm not going to say it was anything spectacular. Yes, it could have been better in certain areas, but to me, Nikita just got back. So I don't mind that Nikita gets the victory here, and I could give this about maybe 2 stars. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 2 to 2.25 stars. It feels like a lifetime ago that Nikita Lyons was at the top of the NXT women's division, but it is impressive that she was even able to return in 2024 at all after a pair of ACL tears in early 2023 and early 2024. The NXT women's division has improved significantly in terms of depth since she was at last able to work consistently, but she is no longer an obvious title contender. It was a big challenge to put her up against Lola Vice, who is a made woman in NXT. Perhaps that is why Lyons picked up what should be considered a major upset, even with the interference. Vice did the heavy lifting in this match, but the two had solid chemistry that carried them through. Lyons still has work to do to get back to full speed, but she looked better than expected, I thought. So, And the crowd was genuinely behind the returning Lions, cheering her more than Lola Vice. So not much more to say on that. So this was actually I'm gonna be a little more generous. I'm gonna give it about 2.25, 2.5 for the effort once again. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Nikita Lyons, she's back, big win. Although Jada Parker with the assist.
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 2.25 on here. I mean, yeah, it's obvious this was the right choice because, like you said, Nikita Lyons just got back. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for her to lose in her first match back from injury. So this was, like I said, this was the right call. So nothing more to say. There's really nothing more for me to say. So let's move on, Fletch.
All right. With that said, now we do indeed move on. Um, we had Rich Holland going one-on-one with Riley Osborne. Rich Holland winning the match in 3 minutes and 43 seconds. This is on the fence. I'm probably going to say move on that one. Then we had Ashanti Diandonis versus Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen winning the match in 4 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm just going to bypass this one as well. Anthony Flayo gets the lead off on the main event of the evening. This one we will not duck from. Javon Evans, All Ego Ethan Page, and Wesley. Winner becomes the number one contender for the NXT Championship, and that match will be at Halloween Havoc. And more importantly, it will be a spin the wheel, make the deal type match. And when it was all said and done, winner of the bout, 15 minutes and 27 seconds. All Ego Ethan Page wins the match. He gets another shot at Trick Williams. And then they did the wheel. And Anthony, we're going into the Devil's Playground.
Let's go. Yes, sir. What was that time again?
15:27.
Easily fight of the night here. No doubt about it. I'm going to give this in excess of 3.5 to 4 stars. And I will tell you what, I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, Ethan Page called out Trick Williams to spin the Halloween Havoc wheel. It determined their rematch would be a Devil's Playground bout before All Ego blasted the NXT champion with the belt. Nothing in the ring last night was anywhere near this main event. On a night of solid story-driven moments, this was all action. These men were flying, especially Javon Evans. After an unfortunate end to the biggest match of his career last week, this contest was all Evans, who looked like a world beater with the whole NXT audience behind him. Despite Wes Lee coming off as the most obvious next man up, it looks like NXT will revisit Trick versus Page one more time, hoping for the Devil's Playground stipulation can bring them their best match. With limited time before Halloween Havoc, this was for the best and allows Lee and Evans more time to build a feud with Trick down the line. The rushed end of the night would have been worse if Trick and Page did not have so much history already established. So that's really all I can say on this. Excellent main event here. In excess of 3.5 to 4 stars. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Ethan Page, with a golden opportunity to regain the NXT Championship at Halloween Havoc when he and Trick step inside the Devil's Playground.
Oh yeah, this should be something when it comes to the Devil's Playground. So I do agree, 3.5 to 4 on this one. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more for me to say. It's overall thoughts time.
I actually gotta give my thoughts.
Oh, sorry about that.
3. No, you're right. You're good. 3.5 to 4 total agreement. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the overall review.
I thought it was an okay show. I mean, I'll say it like this. I mean, it was solid, but not really overly spectacular with this. So I'll give this maybe an excess of maybe I'll give it about maybe 7 out of 10. So it's yours, Fletch.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to say 6. I think it was because there was a couple of good things. I'm not going to bash it too badly, but it kind of felt like a paint by numbers type show, and it to be real honest with you. So I kind of feel like partial overscore, but not bad, but not badly. I definitely agree. If you wanna make an argument for 7, you definitely can make an argument for 7. But really nothing more to add. And Anthony, it's yours.
Sorry, Bullock, I got to go with MF on this one. MF, you're right. I agree with you on this. 6.5 for me. With just 1 week left after this show to build for Halloween Havoc, NXT was in overdrive to create a card for the event on October 27th. This led to a night filled with story-driven moments, but lacked the highlights in the ring beyond the main event. In particular, the return of Andre Chase, the debut of Stephanie Vacour, and subsequent tag team challenge and Jada Parker falling down a darker path were highlights. Hopefully, the Halloween Havoc card will be more fully established by next week, allowing the key angles to dominate the show with less need to rush angles. Even if Halloween Havoc does not manage to reach lofty heights, though, NXT has plenty of promising stories brewing and challengers lined up for every champion on the roster. Long story short, main event, easily fight of the night. All the other matches, MF, I hate to say it, but it kind of felt like it was a back to reality kind of show. I mean, after those 2 great first weeks, I mean, especially that first week on the CW. I mean, that show in Chicago, that was the best NXT of this calendar year by a country mile.
And
last week,
last
week, St. Louis took a small step back, but not too much. It was still a good show last week, but out of the 3 shows on the CW, this was easily the worst one so far. I mean, it felt like we were watching. I thought I was watching one of those old 2.0 shows from USA. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry. So, I agree with you, MF, on this one. 6 to 6.5 for me. So with that, we move on. AEW Dynamite from the Shark Tank in San Jose, MF.
Yes, it was. And we started off with a promo segment by Adam Cole, interrupted by MJF. Looks like they are trying to set up the rivalry again. Adam Cole versus MJF. And look, I get it. I think it's going to be fine for what it's worth. There were some people that kind of, I hate to say this, they were crapping all over this segment. There's been some very harsh criticism coming out of the AEW land tonight. And, I'm going to say it. I thought this was fine. I didn't think it was overly bad. Now, we'll get into the in-ring action later on because there's some few choice words I'm going to have about the in-ring action. But here, I thought this was one of the better segments or one of the few bright spots of tonight's AEW show. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Adam Cole gave a promo trying to justify being a babyface after turning on MJF after months of friendship. He said MJF is evil and he had to be evil to fight him. MJF responded with a promo from his home about how Cole made him unable to trust anyone ever again. This was a decent return promo from Adam Cole and response from MJF, but it felt like it left us wanting a bit more, if I'm going to be honest with you. So there's not much more to say on that. So, like I said, decent, not overly, exciting or anything. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this opening promo?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's kind of like you said, Florio. It was solid, but not overly spectacular with this. So, and like you said, the fans just somehow, for some way, just weren't even into it. So yeah, I mean, like I said already, it was solid, but not overly spectacular. So nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
First fight of the night, we had a tag team match as it was Big Bill and Brian Keith. They went up against FTR. FTR winning the match in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5, 2 3/4. This ended up being a pretty solid tag match that didn't lean too heavily on double team offense. Both duos looked good, but FTR won shortly after the break with the Shatter Machine. And then the Outrunners came out and had a funny handshake segment. Not much more to say on this. 2.5, 2.75 of a star. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating for this match. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 2.5. I'm gonna say it was all right for what it was worth. It was really nothing. Um, it was solid and it was all right, but really nothing more to add there. Next up, that we did have on the fight card, we had Mercedes Moné going 1-on-1 with Queen Aminata, and it was Mercedes Moné successfully defending the TBS title in 8 minutes and 49 seconds. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
What was the time, Fletch?
8:49.
I'll give this about another 2.5 star rating for this one. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt, but you know they're gonna be somewhere down the line. Chris Statlander is gonna be facing off with Mercedes Moné. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was all right. I mean, it's only about 2.5 stars, and it was fine for what it was worth. It could have been solid. It could have been a little more better, more solid, and everything else. And there's really nothing more for me to say. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Another 2.5, 2.75 star match. This bout had a steady pace and didn't feel rushed. Both women took time to sell and taunt, but at times it felt like a quicker pace would have served them well. Queen Aminata ended up tapping out to the statement maker, which was formerly known as the Bank Statement, when Mercedes was known as Sasha Banks in WWE, of course. And while it was nice to see a mostly clean title defense, it felt like this match was missing the sense of urgency you need in a title bout. So 2.5, 2.75 of a star. Let's move on.
So next up we had was a 6-man tag team fight, as it was the Young Bucks and Okada. They went up against Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero. Unfortunately, the fight got thrown out 10 minutes and 18 seconds because I guess you could say the new faction, the Blackpool Combat Club, hit the ring and basically destroyed everybody in sight. It's an automatic NA. I mean, there's really no point for this. I mean, so you basically have a 6-man tag, and then you have the BCC come in and just basically destroy everything just because they can. I mean, for what reason? Why? I mean, it made no sense. I mean, yeah, you're making them stronger and whatnot, but you do it in the expense of the elite. I think if I was the Young Bucks and Okada, I'd be a little pissed off right now. What the F are you doing? You're stepping on our toes, on our territory? I don't know what to say on that one, but yeah, it is what it is. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, NA. The match was fun, but the ending is what everyone is going to be talking about. Whatever Jon Moxley has planned is going to be AEW's biggest story moving forward by the look of it. And Rocky Romero is so smooth, and everything he does looks great. And Kyle O'Reilly is one of the best strikers AEW has on the roster, and he needs a title. I think he needs a title at some point. Honestly, I would like to see him be the one to eventually, maybe dethrone Okada for that Continental Championship. That would be a perfect first title for him, honestly. But that's just me. But then again, Tony Khan's not listening to what we have to say. So,
oh no, and
trust me, I'm unleashing hell later on. Believe you me.
Yeah, yes.
So let's just say my inner Jon Moxley's coming out. So, and you don't want that, but too bad you're getting that. So. All right, so nothing more to say on this. NA, obviously, so not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Damn shame too, because the match was getting really good, and then the cosplay BCC had to go and ruin it, and Mox leaving us with more questions than answers again. So,
You expect anything less?
Not with Tony Khan man running things.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have some choice words too for this when we get to the overall review. So yeah, this match was getting so good, and then you throw it out like this. Man, it just rubbed me the wrong way. So, NA for me. I got nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. With that said, let me see. What did we get next? Sheldon Benjamin going one-on-one with Lio Rush. Sheldon Benjamin winning the match in 11 minutes and 25 seconds. I believe it goes to Anthony Florio. So, Florio, it is yours.
11:25.
Yes, it is.
You can make an argument this was the fight of the night here. I mean, if you wanted to. I mean, these two developed chemistry right away and put on a fun debut performance for Sheldon Benjamin. Other than one stunner from Lio Rush that didn't go as planned, this was an outstanding match. After several suplexes, Sheldon Benjamin scored a clean win. This was exactly what it needed to be to make Sheldon Benjamin look good, and then MVP left a business card for Lio Rush. And Sheldon, I got to tell you something. I didn't even know this. Sheldon Benjamin, guys, is 49 years old and moves like someone half his age. Wow, unreal. And Lio Rush was bumping like a madman, and it was great. And MVP was very enthusiastic as he called for Sheldon Benjamin to hit his finisher, the old T-Bone suplex. Back when MF and I were doing the Raw chats back in the day. But anyways, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Sleeper fight of the night. You could certainly make an argument for fight of the night if you wanted to. So, great match. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Sheldon Benjamin. You sure he's 49 years old? He looks like a man half his age, and he's doing unbelievable things for a man his age, and he's still got it after all these years.
It's unbelievable. That a man... It's unbelievable. I mean, he's 49... 49 years old, and for him to do that, it's just unreal. I mean, yeah, it just amazes me. He's probably, with the way he moves, it's almost like he's younger than 49 years old. So, yeah, that's just really impressive. So, I'll give this in excess of 3.5 stars. I think you can definitely make an argument for fight of the night here. So, yeah, I mean, it just really is impressive. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. Yeah. Like I said, 3.5 stars. You guys kind of alluded on everything. Main event, Christian Cage going one-on-one with Switchblade Jay White. Christian Cage winning the match in 15 minutes and 2 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was an all right match, but unfortunately, it did have a not so clean ending with the interference of because of Adam Hangman Page here. I mean, I thought it was an all right match. I mean, I'll give this about maybe 3.25 here. I mean, I just think the Lio Rush Shelton Benjamin match was just better. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I'll go about 3 as well. I thought they did a fine. It was a fine main event. Like I said, it was left. There was some moments that was left to be desired, but I thought they did a fine job with it. I thought they kind of gave us like I said, a solid main event. Yeah, there was some overbooked finish stuff, but I think it's kind of been more predictable nowadays, especially with AEW that nothing ever finishes to be clean or tried or true. There's always something a little screwy, especially towards the end. So yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Overall, it was a 3.5, but I'm bumping it down to about 3 to 3.25. Captain Charisma and Switchblade had a good competitive bout that did a lot to establish Jay White as a babyface. The crowd especially loved Jay White using Christian's turtleneck against him. Hangman Adam Page showed up toward the end to get revenge on Jay White for Wrestle Dream. He hit a buckshot lariat while the referee was distracted to give Christian the win. And the BCC was shown attacking Dark Order backstage before leaving in a truck. Colton Gunn and Juice Robinson did not really do anything to justify ejecting them. And using Cage's turtleneck to cover his face so his chest was exposed for chops was a fun moment. But 3 to 3.25 stars. And MF, we move on to our overall review. What should have been a hot follow-up from Wrestle Dream. Swing and a miss and a whimper and a punt.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Swing and a miss and a punt. And a lot of people are going off right now about the show. A lot of people are raging on the internet, and rightfully so. This was, I'll go and say it, maybe 6 out of 10. Another average AEW show. And I know there's a lot of people that are going after Tony Khan, going after the creative, going after everything else. So you want to hear real rants and everything else? Go on the ether. Go out on the other YouTube sites. They're raging right now. They're flipping out. They're saying how AEW sucks and the whole 9 yards. How Tony Khan doesn't know shit about wrestling and everything else. So you can go out in that ether and go there. I'll say this. Yes, it was a major step back. Yes, it was a turn down. It was basically, you're thinking everything was going to be better after Wrestle Dream. But you could feel that the energy is not there. It's like now, it's that old analogy, the inmates are running the asylum. And that is the thing that we're getting from AEW, from Tony Khan, that the inmates are running the company, that they have no control over what they're doing and the whole 9 yards. And they're trying to say that this is their brand of professional wrestling. But here's the thing. Your ratings are tanking. Your viewership is abysmal. The crowd in the arenas are half empty. And then the fans that are there hardly ever make a freaking peep. And this is how you survive a company? And this is how you're going to thrive and survive and continue what you're going to do? I'm sorry, bro, but look, if you had told me this about and I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people's been harping about it, but I think it needs to be addressed. When they first came out, everybody was all intrigued. They were all excited. It's a new company. It's something that's not WWE, and it's everything else. 2 years, 3 years into the company, people thought that WWE was dead. A lot of people thought that we are about to see the demise of WWE, a company that's been in business for over, 60, 70 years now? And we're talking about a company that was really hemorrhaging, bleeding out. And within about a 3-year span, now we're talking about AEW dying. We're talking about AEW hemorrhaging, bleeding out. And it's because of people like Tony Khan, who's, I don't know, is it business savvy? Is it something that it seems is crazy and convoluted, but all of a sudden, you lost the people's interest. The viewership, if you notice, on that Tuesday where NXT had 875,000. Did anybody remember what the number was? It was like 200, almost 250,000. It was only 250,000. So how are you going to survive? I mean, it's almost laughable at this point. But, hey, and Anthony Floyd and Michael Bullock are going to give you a whole bunch of other bullet points about why AEW's been so bad lately. So I don't even need to say anything more. I'm just going to park it here and let them have at it. So Anthony, it's yours.
Okay, where do I start? Weak explanation from Adam Cole. We have Dark Order and Top Flight feuding with Jon Moxley and his cosplay BCC after they just literally ended Bryan Danielson's career at Wrestle Dream. Mariah May is thrown into another random match with no feud. Mercedes Moné wrestles. Where was Chris Statlander? Aren't they supposedly feuding? Where was Chris Statlander? Brian Cage joining the Don Callis family with no explanation. That did you hear any, did you hear any exciting reactions from that crowd? No, because that crowd was as lifeless as anything, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, what in the hell are we doing here? Do they genuinely not care about writing television? Is it truly great pay-per-view, crap TV show, rinse and repeat? Lifeless show. This entire company has hit rock bottom creatively. We were all interested coming out of Wrestle Dream. And tonight, Tony Khan and whoever's on his creative team showed you they don't give two shits about what we want or who we want to see. I only have one question. Where's the fucking story? Make it make sense. Where is it? Where is the damn story?
That's why AEW is on the fucking decline and why WWE is on the rise.
The Titanic is hitting that iceberg, gentlemen.
And it's going to hit it real hard.
And it's going to sink like WCW did. What should have been, you know what this show should have been tonight? It should have been a red hot follow-up from Wrestle Dream. It should have. It, honest to goodness, should have been, I had a little bit of interest going into this. And I'm going to say it like this. Tonight's show, because they had stories coming out of Wrestle Dream, they needed to forward those stories, capitalize, and give us a real reason and investment to tune in next week and into as far as the Full Gear pay-per-view next month.
And they absolutely punted. They didn't give us nothing. Yeah, you're absolutely
It was
right.
A swing and a miss.
It was a massive swing and a miss. And I know there's a few people out there that are saying, well, and there's a couple of people coming out at us now saying that we're being harsh about AEW. Saying that and here's the thing. He's like, one person on that, because our former colleague even went off on AEW. He went on a rant, and a couple of people on his site says this show wasn't really that bad. Really? Then the other one said, if you think the first hour of the BCC wasn't hitting, then you've lost the plot. So here comes the AEW marks, as usual, defending their shit product. And
yeah, they're probably smoking some weed, and they probably don't know what the hell they're saying.
Well, no, because those are the AEW stands. Those are the people that are
kiss
going to
the ass
come
of
out.
Tony Khan.
Exactly. And just the mere fact that our former colleague went out, open fired on AEW, and now they're attacking him as usual. And funny thing is, he basically cracks back by saying, you jerks are paying my bill, so thank you very much. Thing is, I agree with that. All you're just doing is just giving us the content. We thank you, AEW, that you guys are so invested in our program, that you're so invested in our former colleagues' program, because all you're just doing is just giving us more content. You guys are giving us what we want: viewership, love of the support of the fans, everything else. All our friends will most likely agree with everything we've been saying here tonight. Majority of them. I know there's going to be a couple of AEW fans that are going to be like, "Oh, you're being a little harsh." Sorry, but
we're
like
telling
Anthony,
the fucking truth.
Well, no, not that. But Anthony Floyd has always said, and always said, we're telling it like it is.
Damn right.
That's exactly what we're doing. Now, we're not going to be dropping F-bombs or this or that. And we apologize for the language. We do apologize because if little kids are watching this, we apologize in advance. Kids, do not repeat some of the stuff that we say on air.
Sorry. It's just the way I feel right now, and I feel like this is the time where I need to drop some stuff.
It's frustration. I mean,
it's frustration, and
we were doing the same thing 3 years ago. 3 years ago, rewind back to as far as what 3 or so years ago when we were doing the same thing to WWE.
Exactly. No,
now we're doing it. I never in my wildest dreams did I think we would be crapping all over AEW and universally praising WWE.
Yeah.
And just sickens me that these AEW marks try to defend this crap.
Yeah. Like I said, they're going after our former colleague again tonight because of his honesty, and that's what it is. He was being honest. He's being honest. He's being true. And this is one of the rare times where, like I said, many times, and I think he'll even agree, that there's many times where we might not agree with some of the stuff that he says. And I know for a fact that there's times where he doesn't agree with any of the content that we've been putting out or any of the stuff that we've been saying. However, when it comes to AEW, this is one of the rare times where we, Michael Bullock, Anthony Floyd, and Michael Fletcher, and the host of the Wrestling Forum, Derek Ferreira, we are in lock and step right now. And that's very, very, very interesting to know that we are seeing what everybody else is not seeing. And that's very rare, is that we're on lock and step about how bad AEW has been. And Anthony, you alluded, they gave us a very good pay-per-view, except for that final part. They gave us a very good pay-per-view, a solid pay-per-view, one that many people was even saying up to the point was maybe the best pay-per-view of 2024. Until that,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to say it because I thought it was a really good show until that final part. And
I should have seen the writing on the wall. I should have seen the writing on the wall the moment that ending happened.
Yeah, but it is what it is. And yeah, so what's the number? What's your rating? Because I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Well, I wanted to get the little rant off my chest first because it was eating at me, was gnawing at me, you know?
All right. So, yeah, go ahead.
But I'm going to give you the professional side of things. That was my personal side. This is the professional side. Tonight's episode of Dynamite did not really do a lot of things right when it comes to storytelling. Only one match stood out in a significant way. Jon Moxley and his group wanting to take over AEW was front and center, but he already has a lot of people looking to stop his momentum before it gets going. The women's division felt a little neglected with only one match and no segments. But I'm going to say Queen Aminata looked pretty good in her title bout against the CEO. I thought she looked pretty good. And the main event between Jay White and Christian Cage, for the most part, was entertaining, but nothing came close to what Lio Rush and Shelton Benjamin did. They stole the show by a wide margin and a bout that reminded everyone that at 49 years old, the gold standard is not one to be overlooked. And what AEW needs to do right now, they need to have some interesting feuds set up. And with more than a month until Full Gear, you got plenty of time to tell those stories. So we'll wait and see on that. So I'm with MF on this one, 6 to 6.5 out of 10. But again, like I said, when it comes to some of these matches and feuds and whatnot, where's the damn story? Make it make sense, please. That's it. So I've had enough rants for one night. So, Michael Bullock, let's get a quick thought from you, and then we'll get into our Thursday night football preview for the Broncos and the Saints.
Yeah, this is why I can't stand Tony freaking Khan right now. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to run a damn show. I mean, the bookings are terrible, and everything he does just really, it just eats me alive. I mean, years ago when AEW first came about, we were praising it. And this is obviously when WWE was on the decline. And it's just, I just really can't understand why this happened. I don't know. You guys pretty much said everything. 6 out of 10. And let's get into Thursday night football.
All right. With that said, now we do move on to the last part of the evening. Uh, you guys were saying, oh, you know what? I had one fan come at us just a short while ago, questioning us about doing all these wrestling shows. So we're going to give you some NFL. All right. So I hope you enjoy this, my friend. And what we got is Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime Video, and this time around, we got is the Denver Broncos going to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. They're going up against the New Orleans Saints. You guys already know the crew: Al Michaels, Kirk Street, Kaylee Hartung. That's gonna be on Amazon Prime Video. Anthony will have the other part for all your local people. If you live in the New Orleans and the Denver areas, they'll give you the local affiliates in just a moment. So over under is at 37.5, and it's Denver, the favorite, 3 points. Thank you, ESPN Bet, for giving us the stats on that. Right now, it looks like just injury-wise, Singleton, Derek Carr is doubtful with a oblique injury, and Rashad Shaheen is not playing. He is out with a meniscus injury in the knee. Look, I'm gonna say it. If you don't have Derek Carr going in there, and you gotta rely on Spencer Rattler, I don't like your chances in this one, guys. And plus, on top of that, for the mere fact that they're going on the road here. So, all right. And with that said, we're gonna say it. I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos to win this game. Anthony Floyo just announced to just let me know that this is the number 5 game of the week on the on our talk on our sports world, on our TXN
on our
sports
network,
world.
On our side of the ledger.
On our side of the ledger, that is normally known as the TXN Sports World. Anthony Florio, I give it to you for the particulars and the rest of the setup.
Alrighty. So, yep. All right. So let's break it all down. Tomorrow night it'll be the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, on Amazon Prime Video. Now, of course, as we all know, not everybody can have Amazon Prime Video. So, for the people of Denver and New Orleans only, you can watch the game. For the people of Denver, you can watch this game on your ABC affiliate. So for Denver, it's KMGH ABC Channel 7 for the people of Denver. For the people of New Orleans, you can actually watch this game on your NBC affiliate, WDSU NBC Channel 6 in New Orleans. Of course, as always, that'll be Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Hartung on the call. You have 3 on your end. I have Denver by 2.5. Denver is a 2.5-point favorite on my spreadsheet, and the series history favors Denver. Denver leads the all-time series 9-3. Their last meeting was 2020 in Denver, and New Orleans absolutely smashed. New Orleans smashed Denver in Denver in 2020, 31-3. Last meeting in New Orleans, and that actually snapped a 5-game losing streak to the Denver Broncos. Denver, last meeting in New Orleans was back in 2016. Denver won that 25-23. The New Orleans Saints have only beaten the Denver Broncos at home once. And that one time was all the way back in 1988. And they smashed them 42-0 in that game. So, okay. Of course, there is a big caveat to this, as we all know. Sean Payton, let's not forget, Sean Payton was the coach of the New Orleans Saints, and he did something that no one ever thought would happen. He led the New Orleans Saints to a Super Bowl championship in Super Bowl 44 when they knocked off the Indianapolis Colts 31-17 in Miami back in February of 2010. And Sean Payton gets to coach against Dennis Allen back in New Orleans. His offense is overachieving with Bo Nix, while Dennis Allen's defense is underachieving, giving up 51 points and almost 600 yards at home Sunday against the Buccaneers. The Broncos don't have the same pop as the Bucs, but they can still move it well enough with Nix for the minor upset, as he also has the rookie quarterback edge over Spencer Rattler. So you know what? Yeah, why not? I'll go with Denver in this one. I'll be honest, it's not a overly confident pick, but I will take the chance and I will go with Denver to win this game. I'm going to say final score will be 20-17. The Denver Broncos defeat the New Orleans Saints. And MF, I'm going to give you the rest of the lineups on our end when it comes to the games in just a little bit. So this is number 5 for sure. So 20-17, Denver wins. Nothing more to say except take us home, Bullock.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about. I'm actually gonna go with the Denver Broncos as well. I mean, they've been really impressed me, especially the offense has really overachieved. So yeah, I mean, would I be surprised if New Orleans wins? No, I wouldn't be surprised. So, but give me Denver to win. So let's put a bow on this night, Fletch.
All right, Anthony Foyer, front and center, man. What are we doing tomorrow night, man? What we got?
You know what we have tomorrow night, friends, and that is, of course, if you can believe this already, the Week 8 edition. Man, Week 8 already. Man, unbelievable. But here we are. We are just about halfway through this. I think we're right around the halfway mark of this 2024 college football season. Week number 8. And other than the big ones, notable, we got, I believe it's another 17-game docket this week. I'm just checking it. Yes, it is. It's a 17-game docket. And we got some great matchups this week, guys. You remember last week we talked about Smorgasbord Saturday? Well, I think we got another one here. Although we have 2 games on Friday, which we'll address tomorrow. So here's some of the notable games we're going to be getting into this week. Virginia going up against Clemson in an ACC matchup. Nebraska against Indiana in a Big Ten matchup. How about Miami against Louisville in another big ACC matchup? In another sleeper matchup, how about Notre Dame against Georgia Tech? That could be a good one. But of course, the games of the week, we got Michigan going up against Illinois. That's one of the big ones of the week. That's the Big Ten on CBS, by the way. LSU going up against Arkansas. Always fun when they get together. Another interesting sleeper matchup, Kansas State against West Virginia. UCF going up against Iowa. But, gentlemen, it's all about the double main event from the SEC. Number 7, Alabama, at number 11, Tennessee. And if you thought any other week, that would be the game of the week, but not this week. Because we got a game that's even bigger than that. Number 5, Georgia against number 1, Texas. And we're going to get into all of that tomorrow night. 17-game docket, week 8, TXN Sports World, college football Thursday. Am I correct in assuming 10:30 for the start time on that, MF?
Yes.
Okay. So 10:30 tomorrow night, TXN Sports World, college football Thursday, week 8 edition. It's going to be great. A lot of great matchups, like I said, MF. But, of course, that huge double main event in the SEC. Those are the big talking points, MF. Can't wait. Tomorrow night.
Friday night is NFL Friday. Saturday night, Cerebral Smack Talk, both at 10:30 on both nights. And we are out of here. So thank you guys, as always. Leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. Be a friend, tell a friend, say something nice. You can actually change their life. And until then, we'll see you all tomorrow night. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Bye-bye.